And now a taste of things to come.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to another video. My name is VGY. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the best Shao in the world. I mean, you already know what it is. We're back with another guide. Today, we're going to be doing Shang Tsung. And it's going to be how to fight against Shang Tsung, because this is a question a lot of people have asked me in my chats and in comments and in various places. So I'm very glad I'm able to do the guide for this, because Shang Tsung is definitely a character that's difficult to fight. Definitely. And people obviously don't know that there's obviously very helpful tips in order to counter some of his best strategies and moves and just overall his game plan. Liu Kang is also a very good character for it, which is why I'm using him, because he has a very good way of countering him. And it's actually the character I use in tournament against Shang the most to beat him. So yeah, without further ado, ladies and gents, let's get into the guide. So, first step, we're going to be going over variations that you're going to be seeing a lot from Shang. Now, the main move, the main meat and potatoes of his offense is Ground Eruption. Now, a lot of people struggle with this move, and rightfully so, because it just destroys neutral. Like, you're walking about, boom, Ground Eruption, you're launched. Now, you have a choice here. You either break and you use all your defensive resources and gain nothing, just so you don't get sent full screen, or you get sent full screen with this combo right here into the lovely onslaught of Shang zoning. Now, we don't want that, do we? So it's important when you're playing against Shang to block a lot randomly in neutral. That is exactly what you want to do. Now, if I record Shang Tsung here, just doing some Ground Eruption, as you can see, if I flawless block this, the pushback is reduced. Like, I'll not flawless block it here if they space it correctly. See that? I'm not flawless blocking it. The pushback's quite severe. However, if I flawless block it, I get that. I flop there. Do you see that? I get a flying kick. That one didn't punish, but you guys see the point I'm trying to make here. See the pushback there, and then I'll flawless block it now. Pushback's reduced. That is the most important thing against Shang. The most important thing. Nothing even comes close. Because if you shut down that move, he actually has to think about what he wants to do in neutral. If you show him that you can't counter that, you're going to just, this is going to be the game that you play. That's it. That's not even an exaggeration. And because I fought it before, you are going to endure Ground Eruption after Ground Eruption after Ground Eruption into full screen, into corpse drops, which do not tickle, by the way, 8%. And then on Amplify, almost 14, which is the same as an old throw used to do. And moving on to that as well, throws send you full screen too. So yeah, Ground Eruption is pretty much the only variation you will have to worry about if he has Ground Eruption. Also Shake, right? If he has Shake, you don't want to zone him out, that's a given. So just walk it in, literally. If he's zoning you, if I do this, and then do this here, just like this, see? Just walk it in, be patient, and then you'll get your reward, you know? Obviously there, it's not going to be exactly the same as if a human did it, but you get my point. It's going to be like that. So yeah, they're the main moves you're going to be looking out for against Shang, because others aren't really that polarizing.
Become DashFight supporter on Patreon. Gain ad-free browsing on our site. Click the link in the description.
Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to buttons. And pretty much what you're going to be seeing from him in terms of strings and like stagger pressure and stuff like that. So 1-1 gives me your staple. This is very good on block. As we have a look, it's -2. It's very good. So you can stagger this, you can go for a throw, you can obviously go for the string. There's a lot you can do with this string, right? the best advice I can give against something like this is never be fearless when you're trying to interrupt. If you want to interrupt this, interrupt it. Always commit to the interrupt, because it will mean he'll start blocking after this, which means that, you know, then you can obviously go for more cheeky stuff if you react to the block or a mid, like so, right? So make sure that when you're interrupting 1-1, you're fearless and you just do it. It's the same as Liu Kang, right? If Liu Kang is sitting over here, you know, staggering back one after back one, you have to press, otherwise you're just going to be stuck in the block infinite. Same with Shang. Don't let him get away with, you know, staggering 1-1s. That is the #1 thing. The other string I think is important to note, because he doesn't have very many that are that great for pressure, is forward 2-4-2 and forward 2-4-3. Now obviously forward 2-4-2 in the corner will launch. So he's going to want to go for this in the corner. You know, meatless 27 and it's plus. So the way you're going to want to counter this, and the way you're going to want to deal with this, is going to do this, right? It's +4 there. Flawless block that. It's -6. So he loses his turn. And oftentimes, you know, Shangs are going to expect to be plus after this. So you can do pretty much whatever you want and it's your turn. Obviously they can react, of course they can. But to counteract this fact, they're probably going to go for a lot of this to not stop you flawless blocking, which means their turn is over, because that's -5 with no gap. So make sure you're flawless blocking that forward 2-4-2. Obviously it's a mix-up between forward 2-4-3 and forward 2-4-2, but make sure that you're going for the flawless block. Like I said about the throws earlier, make those hard reads to de-incentivize him from going for it, so you're just in plus frames less, meaning you can just basically have the freedom to just do what you want. It's great. So that's another string you've got to look out for. I'd say as well, a back 3 up 4, if we just go to the center again. Back 3 up 4, if I record Shang doing this, you'll see there's actually multiple ways to counter this string. Can anti-air it like so. Very easy anti-air. Like, it does not take any time, you just press the button. Like, it's really, really, really simple. Or, like you can see here, see the pushback on that? That's unpunishable. However, I believe this is, it's pretty minus, this is. Okay, it's not quite -11, I think it's -10. Yeah, it'll be -10 if I can punish standing 2, at least. So very minus, you can flawless block that, like I say, just to recap. You can standing 1 it, or you can flawless block it like so. So they're the main strings you're going to be looking out for, and that is how you're going to counter them. Right, so next we're going to be going over just the actual counters to this stuff, which is what I was explaining earlier with the Ground Eruption and just other general stuff that he has. So, like I say, Ground Eruption, for a really good move, sends you full screen if he does a combo into it, like so, but surprisingly easy to counter. So we're going to show you that now. If I just do a Ground Eruption here, if I block this normally, as you can see, I get pushed back. I take, you know, what, 3 damage in total? Not too bad, however, as you can see there, this does not punish. However, now, if I flawless block it, if I can actually get the flawless block, like so, easy punish. And Liu Kang is not the only character that can punish this like this. There you go, see? You get it quite consistently. So that's Ground Eruption. If you ever see a Ground Eruption, not just as Liu Kang, Johnny Cage can punish it with Shadow Kick, Liu Kang can obviously punish it with Flying Kick, Shao Kahn can punish it with Shoulder. Basically any forward advancing move, punish like that, you can use to punish Ground Eruption. It's -20 on block when it's flawless blocked. It is so unsafe, to the point where you can pretty much punish it with anything you want. Some characters can dash out of it, like Joker and Noob with forward 2, and Joker can just move out of it because he's just that, you know, he's that fast, he's got really good movement. But that is the way you obviously counter it. That's obviously just you blocking it. You could also just walk in, like I say. Like if I record Shang here doing Ground Eruption like that. Like so. You know, if you're, you know, you wave dash in, you can obviously get a really big punish. Because he thought you were one place, but you weren't. And you moved in and you used your movement correctly, right? So that's the main way you're going to be punishing pretty much his main zoning tool. Obvious other counters, you've got his high fireball, which you can obviously duck under, like so. You've also got his jump kick, which I mentioned earlier, which you can trip guard, or you can floor spot, like so. You've also got his... Obviously you've got moves that I didn't mention, like his slide, but obviously this is like just easy to punish, you know? You see this, like I don't think I've ever seen a Shang do this in neutral before. Like, you're just not going to see that move. Apart from that, his main things that he's going to do are going for shimmies and going for throws, like this on stagger and stuff. Shang Tsung has a very good shimmy. It's safe, and it's... Obviously he has 112, which is plus and has pushback, and 114, which is safe and can combo into other stuff with special cancels. Obviously, choosing between a grab and a shimmy is obviously not the easiest thing to do, and this is very oppressive in combination with his jump kick and his jump one, because obviously you can jump one into stuff, and you can obviously combo off the jump one too. But what you're gonna wanna, I said that the wrong way around. You're going to want to basically try and de-incentivize him from going for throws, and the way that you do this is by ducking or duck OSing, which obviously you guys know, I'm sure. But basically making hard reads is what's going to stop him, because obviously if you grab, let's see, his forward throw I think does 11%. That is nothing compared to what will happen if you duck his grab, like so. You know, you duck this, I missed the combo, but like so, you're doing 40% for a ducked throw. That is what you're going to want to do. De-incentivize people that have to go for throws. It's the same as Johnny. Johnny loves to go for throws, so what you're going to do, you're going to duck the grab. Even if he doesn't grab, right, he'll do this. 24% into screen control. Oh well, you do 40 if you duck the grab, you know? But obviously you're not going to always duck the grab. It's just about knowing and seeing your health bars, the position on the screen, defensive resources, for example. If he has no bar, you always take the shimmy, you know? Because why wouldn't you? He has nothing to extend his damage with, right? So yeah, we've got the jump kick, we've got the shimmy and the grabs, we've got the ground eruption, we've got the zoning. Also one thing, the fact that corpse drop is an overhead, always make sure that you're stand blocking when you're going in. So if he's hitting you with these, and you know he's doing his ground eruption and he's doing his corpse drop, make sure when you walk in, you're walking in like this, slowly, and the occasional stand block or duck. React to what he's doing. Don't just walk in, block all the time, because you will take a lot of chip to the point where it will get noticeable. So make sure that you're walking in and you're stand blocking occasionally for those. Because, you know, ground eruption, I believe, is a mid. Yeah, it's a mid, it's not a low. So you can just block this standing, so it's no issue. So to recap, make sure that you are moving around a lot to counter his zoning. Make sure you're reacting to the tool that he uses and to counter appropriately. Make sure that you're making hard reads on his throws and his shimmies to de-incentivize him from going for either, to make it easier for you. Because obviously if you duck a lot of throws, he's going to go for a lot less, meaning that you can just block. And finally, patience. Patience is most definitely a virtue against Shang. So, moving on to the next section, we have weaknesses. Now, like I said, the only move you're going to be really looking out for is Ground Eruption. So that means, weakness-wise, he doesn't have that many moves that are as polarizing as people think. His moves are quite easy to deal with, special-wise. I think Shang definitely excels in his usage of strings and his jump kick, for example, and his pokes. And his throws, of course. But because of that, his specials aren't that polarizing, because it means that you can easily get past them if you know how. Patience is definitely something that you're going to want to try and practice when you're against Shang, because character here, Liu Kang, very good at countering everything that Shang has with just a little bit of patience. You wait a little bit, you get, you know, a lot of reward into your turn, into pressure, into Jeej, you know, like it's very, very helpful. So to start here, obviously, what you've got is the fact that, you know, decently stubby jab, also doesn't have a very good hitbox. So obviously you can outrange that pretty well. Also, he relies a lot on jump kicking. So if you just move out of the range of this slightly, you know, if he's just doing stuff and then he tries to jump kick you, and then you move out of the range of it slightly, you can get a trip guard just like that. Because you will, a Shang will jump at you. He will jump at you. I promise you that. That is something I can definitely guarantee. But like I say as well, in that his special moves aren't too hard to deal with, you know what you're going to get with him, right? He will be trying to keep you at bay with his zoning tools, right? So if you just walk it in, that is the best way I can guarantee that you're going to be doing well against Shang Tsung. Just basically take some of the chip damage, it's fine, because the damage you're going to be doing when you get in is much, much higher. So generally, I'd say those are his main weaknesses as a character. Okay, so moving on to the matchups section of the video. This one won't be too long, but I'll just be telling you guys some favourable matchups for Shang and some not so favourable matchups for Shang, just to give you a kind of basis to what you will be expecting with the character. So I'd say favourable matchups for Shang Tsung, basically anyone that can't really contest his zoning or has to deal with it. So, you know, Baraka comes to mind immediately. Because of the fact that obviously he has a projectile, but to do what Baraka wants to do, he has to be in, you know, like he has to be in your face to enforce his shimmy or his grab. So you can easily zone him out. Same goes for, say, Aaron, even though he has some options. Also important that he can't punish Hell Sparks. Neither of these can, or Ground Eruption. Neither of these can punish those, which is also big. So anyone who can't punish Ground Eruption also struggles. Also characters with low health and who also are focused on zoning, so Sonya for example, Shiva for example, characters that rely on their projectiles and also have 950 health, just get outzoned by Shang. It's very easy for him to do so. Terminator also, again, has to be in your face to try and mix you up and to try and get that knockdown so that he can pressure you. Bad matchups for Shang Tsung, on the other hand, characters that can punish Ground Eruption and that can just contest his zoning, basically. So we've got Liu Kang, we've got Raiden, we've got Scorpion, obviously, you know, Liu Kang with the punishing flying kick, we've got Raiden's teleport, Scorpion's teleport, Fujin, for example, with back two, just contesting neutral at all times, Skywalker for movement, his crazy wave dash. Jade can also punish it, although Jade does get, you can corpse drop through her glow, but you can avoid Ground Eruption, so it's not too bad. For Jade. Spawn with his really good movement and his long range standing 3 can be quite a problem for Shang at times. Shao Kahn can punish it, Johnny can punish it, excuse me. Joker's really good movement speed, for example, was really good against his zoning. So there are definitely options, Sub-Zero as well. But basically, as a rule of thumb, you're going to want to pick characters with either good movement or good punishment tools from long ranges, and that'll be the best thing you can do against Shang in order to beat him. Right, so what not to do against Shang, just a recap on everything. It's not going to be that long of a section, to be honest, but a last thing is very important. Number 1, you do not want to be impatient. Impatience will lose you the game immediately. You know, you want to be patient so that, because of course he's going to be trying to keep you away, you're going to block all this stuff, then take the chip damage. I know, of course, taking as much chip as Shang will deal out is quite frustrating. And, you know, people might want to dash in prematurely, they'll get sent back full screen, and then they'll take even more damage than they originally should have. But what you want to do is you want to stay patient, you want to walk in, you want to go slowly, and then choose a good time to go in, basically. Because it will reward you significantly. You know, it's like Cetrion or, you know, Geras, characters that can control space really well. It's hard sometimes to get in because they're just so good at it, but once you do get in, it's very good, because obviously if you're a fast character or if you're a character that doesn't have a teleport or something, you obviously excel at close range. That's how that works. You know, Johnny, Liu Kang are great examples. So be patient, that's number 1. Number 2, do not be afraid to just move around a lot, you know? Like, moving around will counter a lot of what Shang has to offer, and it will mean that you are very slippery and hard to hit. So move around a lot, but also make sure you're blocking while you're moving around. Block dashing is also very effective in both directions. Also, like I say, third thing, and probably the final thing, make sure you're making a lot of hard reads on Shang when it comes to throws and the strings that are flawless blockable, because he is really punishable when you know about these tips and tricks. So make sure you're making those hard reads. But in terms of what not to do, don't do any of basically the opposites. So don't be impatient, don't just sit there and take all of his pressure, and don't just stand still because he will chip you out. Those 3 things I think are the keys. But yeah guys, that is going to be the end of the how to play against Shang Tsung guide. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comments. If you made it to the end of the video, type Wuxi Warlock, don't know how I just came up with that alliteration, but we did, in the comment section below, to make it clear that you made it to the end of the video. Like I say, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you're checking the links below for anything related to DashFight. They are lovely people. Make sure you give them a follow on the socials and on the YouTube. Give them a cheeky subscribe, why not? I've been VGY. You guys have been a pleasure to host once again for this video. It's my pleasure as always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.